Okay. Welcome, everyone. I am so excited. We're here in a very special call. Also welcoming everyone who catches the replay. We are here for a brand magic, brand ignite your brand call with a special expert that I have invited for everyone who wants to make your brand more clear and to draw your dream clients in with ease. I know that is such a thing when we start our business, especially when it's our heart and soul business, then sometimes it's hard to see the forest from the trees. And like, how do you package this? And how does it make sense? And then how do you speak it? And so Gerry is an expert in this, and I'm going to introduce him with the official bio. So Gerry is a highly accomplished brand strategist and president of Gerry Foster Branding. It's a brand development and training company based in LA, and he has been hailed affectionately as the branding evangelist since starting his company full-time in 1985. So he's helped over 100,000 small businesses. That's really impressive, from over 600 different industries. He's a creator of the Big Brand Formula. And Gerry loves helping service-based entrepreneurs who are ready to create a brand that consumers will fall in love with, cherish, and value. People who are willing to flip the script to go to the deep end of the pool and turn the tables in their favor. And I'm going to ask you what you mean by that with examples. And then he's also serving people who are excited to have a brand that is so unexpected and so profound and so striking that success can only multiply. Welcome, Gerry. I'm so happy to have you.
Oh, Astrid, it's really excited for me to be here. Wow, those are wonderful words. I like how you read that off.
Yeah, I got them from you, but I made them my own as I was speaking. So we're crafting this together. And I want to highlight also how I know Gerry. Like, I met you in person. So we were at an event together for business owners who wanted to grow their business, and we both talked a little bit about branding and strategy and the possibilities and opportunities we saw for some people there. So Gerry, do you want to tell people a little bit more about you and what you observed from people at the conference, and in general from your background, of what issues do you see for people who want to grow their business?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, in terms of what it is that I do, I'm what's called a brand strategist as opposed to a brand designer. And just like someone who may own a house cleaning service says they don't do windows, well, I don't do logos, swag bags, tote bags, websites, and things that people can see. Because great brands are built strategically, not just visually.
Yes.
And my forte, as you referenced, was working with service-based entrepreneurs. That's my sweet spot. Folks who have some kind of skill, talent, ability, or expertise, how to take what they have and turn that into a thrilling brand. Mm-hmm. So that you can stand out, get noticed, and be remembered. That's the key. I've been at it for a long time. As you mentioned, I've made branding my life's work ever since college, and majored in marketing and deep study in branding at USC, blah, 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 Procter & Gamble corporate career. So I just live and breathe branding. I love all things about branding. Yeah. Now, to get to what you were also referencing, I think one of the biggest challenges today for so many owners is that they're blending in and not standing out. Mm-hmm. So here we are living in this pandemic world. The online marketplace is cluttered, it's noisy, and it's getting harder and harder for many owners to stand out, get noticed, and be remembered, so they can then be rewarded for what they have. Yeah. So what I do is I help people nail down what is it that you are bringing to the market that's so special, that's so appealing, that people can't help but pay attention to you. And that's pretty much what I do. And once all that core work is done, then you can feed it to your marketing machinery. in
Yeah.
terms of how to execute that. But it all starts with making sure that you nail down exactly what your brand is.
Yeah. Yep. I love that you clarified that so clearly, that you're on the strategy part and that design is not the first thing. So I'm actually from the design background. That was my first business, and I've done that for many years. And to give a perspective, I also became passionate about branding at some point, but it wasn't my main focus. It was something that I started bringing into my design work because I noticed that people needed help with that. And they came to me and they're like, "Oh, I want a logo." And then I helped them get clear on their brand so that they could get their visuals that would work, right? And one thing that I also noticed, and I'm sharing, we're both kind of ad-libbing here, sharing from our experience so that you can find your own gems and what's useful to you right now. One problem that I saw that or mistake, waste of time that some people did is that they thought, for instance, they thought they needed a website right at the beginning when they start out. And they came to me, and back when I didn't know so much about it, like they invested in a whole website and a whole spiel. But then it turned out that something in their core wasn't even aligned to be ready to get out in the market. So there was also that piece of like really feeling that, knowing what you stand for and then feeling it and then being ready. Like, Gerry, do you also help people with that? Like, how do you navigate that people are really ready? Go ahead.
Oh my God. I mean, you raise a good point, which is, how do you know when you're ready? Well, you know when you're ready when you have defined your brand as being what's called a me-only brand. One of the problems today that's a big challenge for many owners, even if they're offering products and not just services, is that they're not putting anything out into the market that's perceived as being fresh and original and unique. So if you're an owner and you're simply showing up in the marketplace and someone comes across your website, you mentioned, or whatever, and they feel they can get the same thing from you somewhere else, then what they've done is they've commoditized you.
Yeah. Yep.
And I tell you this, Astrid, so many owners are showing up as just another penguin in the flock. They're showing up like another slice in the loaf, a carton of milk, a jar of mayo. I mean, and in a moment someone perceives that you're not putting out something that is really different and special and unique, not only do they commoditize you, now you're forced to compete on price because they don't feel they can get something from you that they cannot get anywhere else. So that's a big part of what I do, which is how to make sure that you are getting noticed and being found and all that kind of stuff that everybody needs.
I love it. And I love that you just highlighted something really valuable for people. You referenced pricing, that if we appear like a commodity and if we don't stand out and we're just putting our things out there that doesn't really shine our brilliance, then we can't ask the high prices, or it's harder to ask like really high prices, and that people actually feel the value. And that I noticed that actually when I did one of my rebrandings, like at the very beginning, when I started my first business, I just put it out there, which can be good to just get started, right? You get some input from the market, you see what works, you get your feet wet. But at some point I started actually realizing that there was a lot of price haggling going on, and people were like, "Oh, can you do it cheaper?" Or like, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't feel fulfilling. It seemed kind of like a hard go was my business. And so at that point, I had a friend who was a branding strategist also in Switzerland, and I stuck my nose into branding, and I also got really excited about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, small business owners can actually use the power of branding. You don't have to be a big agency to use it. It's some strategies to get clear, right? And so I was like, wow, I can do this. And so I did this for myself. I totally redefined actually what I stand for, all those details that Gerry helps you clarify. I did that for myself. And then I redesigned it. So my design reflected my values, my uniqueness, my clear strategy, all of that. And I decided that I'm positioning my brand. That's what you also can do when you're so clear. You can decide, okay, so where are you positioning yourself, right? Which clients do you want to reach? Like higher? Do you want to be a commodity? Which no, you don't. You shouldn't do that. That's hard.
Yeah.
And so I decided to position my brand higher. I rebranded, I launched it, and it was like night and day. I actually had people come to me as soon as I relaunched it who said like, oh, different story. They were saying like, I don't know if I can afford you, but I would really love to work with you. So that was a totally different conversation than before, the price haggling kind of deal. So highlighting that, what a difference that can make. Do you have stories like that, Gerry? I'm sure
Oh,
you're before and after.
no, I have tons of them. I mean, I mean, and you know what? It's interesting because there's a common theme. The common theme for most people who come to me is more around the fact that they are experiencing certain symptoms. The symptoms may be slow sales, no sales, cash flow problems, or it could be that they're trying different types of marketing, create a funnel, create an offer. They're spending money on coaches, and basically they're getting little to nothing to show for it. And the reason why their marketing isn't working is because their branding is not compelling. But then they think their branding's okay because they think a brand is a logo.
Yeah.
You know, they think the brand, like you just mentioned, is something that people can see. So
Part
part of, yeah, I mean, no one's going to hire you just because of your color scheme. I mean, now at the same time, Astrid, I do not devalue or minimize the importance of design. Of course
Oh,
not.
yeah, no, totally get it.
Because anything you can do to stand out, get noticed, be remembered is a smart thing to do. But that alone doesn't give you what's called a whole brand, which means to put something onto the marketplace that people can wrap their arms around and literally fall in love with you and what you offer because they see you as being distinct, as opposed to risking being extinct. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the kind of work that I do is deep dive strategic work, getting to the core of what is your uniqueness. Like you mentioned, getting JV partners. People want to know, what is it that makes you unique? What is it that makes you special? What are the outcomes or end results that people are going to get from you? What are you willing to promise? What is your message? I mean, there's so many layers to this. And the other thing too, Astrid, is that there's different Easter eggs in branding, because it's, and one of the, I bet you have the same issue. They want to lump us all together when people hear the word branding. They think we all do the same thing. But there's different colors. I mean, you can have someone like yourself and your color Easter egg is design, which is fantastic. Someone else could say, they do brand archetypes. This other person does storytelling. My Easter egg is strategic branding, right? So you have to separate it all to understand how it all works. But more importantly, you got to do it in the right sequence.
Yeah, and the strategy comes first.
Oh, it's the foundation. I mean, my goal is to make sure that your core, like let's use fitness, that your core is strong, that you've got the strongest body, voice, and spirit possible. Then someone like you and your brilliance can bring all that to life visually.
Yes.
That's the sequence.
Yes, exactly. So I would love to welcome our guest. We have one fabulous lady with us, and if I may ask you a question real quick, Colleen, is I would love to hear from you, like what is your magic wand wish right now in terms of branding, and what have been your issues, and what would you love? What do you feel is most important for you personally?
Well, I guess first of all, when I named my business, I named it because of me, right? And it's all about essential oils. And Enfleurage is, my business name is Enfleurage Organics. I live in a bilingual country.
Okay.
So there's the French and the English. And, excuse me, enfleurage is an ancient method of extracting essential oils. So I only fragrance with essential oils or something natural like honey. And getting my message out to people has been very difficult because people think natural and organic are the same thing. Natural could cause cancer because the crops are so sprayed with glyphosate.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad I know
And
that.
yeah, and so I was certified for 10 years, certified USDA. And I guess the universe talked to me at the end of 2019 and said, you're wasting thousands of dollars a year because people really don't know the difference.
Hmm.
So I stopped right before the lovely pandemic.
Mhm.
So someone was looking after me. And so what I'm trying to do is be out in the public more and explain, teach people, and hopefully grow my business that way when people realize that, okay, yes, my products are a little bit more expensive, but there's a reason for that.
Sweet. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a great example that I've also seen before, that people can see the value and understand. It all comes back to clarity of understanding, like how it serves. Go ahead,
Yeah, but let
Gerry.
me jump in here.
Yes,
Okay.
please jump in.
Okay. I'll just give you
You're welcome.
some coaching, Colleen, with your permission.
Say that again.
I'd like to just give you some feedback, some coaching with your permission.
Oh, hey, wow.
So here's the thing. You never want people to have to decipher. They should never have to look at a brand name or look at a product and try to figure out what's in it for them as value. Okay. So you have your brand name, okay, which is Entourage, I think.
Entourage.
Okay, very
ENFL.
Oh, Entourage. Okay.
In flowers.
Okay. Now, in branding, let's talk about naming for a second. Okay, the best brand names capture what's called the promise of the brand. When you hear the name of the brand, you get what's in it for them. For example, 24-hour fitness, public storage, clear eyes, eye drops, lean cuisine, tidy cats. You follow me?
Yes.
Now, that's always where you want to start. Now, there are other names that do not promise anything to the customer. Google, Starbucks. It's like, what do those names mean? They don't mean anything. However, they had millions and millions of dollars of advertising and marketing behind them, and so the brands just took off. So you always want to be at the first category. Okay? Now, when you have a name like yours, you have to establish what's called your point of difference. And this is for, and Astrid, this is for all of our viewers and listeners out here, okay? You want to establish in the eyes, in the minds, in the hearts of your buyer, what is it that makes you different? What is that one thing about your product, in your case, and of course, someone's services, that people can latch on to and get that, wow, you're doing something, or your brand has something and nobody else has. And it has to reflect that thing about, in your case, your oils that makes it like the best. Because you said that to Astrid, you were telling us about what's great about it, okay? But we had to wait to hear you explain it. You shouldn't want to ever have to explain it, okay? The people have to see it, they have to. In branding, there's something called sensory branding, where you're looking at the 5 human senses, where people can see, taste, touch, smell, or hear. And the way buyers buy brands is how it appeals to any of those senses or a combination thereof. Okay, you with me? Yep. So for you, here's what comes up for me. I would focus more on how your product is made. See, that plays off of your name. That magic blend. You remember back in the day, Colleen, before KFC, what was it called? It was called the Colonels. You remember the Colonel Sanders? Now, what was the Colonels known for, Colleen? You remember?
Sugar.
No, it was that magical blend of 11 herbs and spices.
Okay.
Remember that?
Well, I think you got the kernel before Canada did.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, but it was a magical blend.
Yeah.
Now, what distinguished them? No other fried chicken had that blend. Ooh.
Nice.
Hmm, hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were you, I would play up your blend as your secret sauce that sets you apart. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what we do in branding. That's called giving people permission to believe whatever you say is the value of your brand. Bounty paper towel, TV commercial. Look, the quicker picker upper. Let the spills begin. And then in the TV commercial, they say Bounty has what's called trap and lock technology, which allows us to absorb 2 times more liquid than any other paper towel. And we go there and go, wow, nobody else has that. That's what I'm asking for you. In all brands, especially with products, you have to have that unique point of difference. It could be your technology, the way it's done, the way it smells, all of that, okay? That's why they used to say, oh, Tide detergent now has little green cleaning crystals. Whoa, little green cleaning crystals? Yeah, your clothes will be whiter. You getting me? So you can't just say you have a brand name and leave it at that, because that's commoditizing yourself. Yeah, this all makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's that resonating, Colleen?
Yeah. A lot of things to think on here.
I love that.
But thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Astrid, this is the power of owners, entrepreneurs standing in their power, standing in their uniqueness, standing in your gift. You have to embrace that you are what's called going to be a me only standalone brand. You never, ever want someone to think you are me too or me also.
Right.
That's why brands like Nike and Starbucks have shown us as consumers that the products they offer are less important than the brands they market and sell. Nike, no, we don't sell sneakers. We sell greatness.
Yes.
Going all the way back to when Phil Knight, I'm gonna let you in here, Astrid. When Phil Knight, if you know his story, the founder of Nike, literally stalked this young kid, stalked him to get a sit-down interview with him. He was a rookie in the NBA, and he somehow finally got a one-on-one meeting with this kid, and his name was Michael Jordan. And he said, Michael, you can have your own shoe line, and we're going to call it Air Jordan. And do you know that to this day, it's the #1 selling sneaker? The guy's been retired for who knows how long now, because what's associated with that brand is I can be like Mike. Man, I can soar. I can be athletic. So all brands, write this down, Colleen, have what's called an association with the name. When you hear that name, bam, that's what you associate with it.
So Gerry, I have a question for you. These are amazing inspirations, and I know everybody's different in their business constellation. So when you get service-based entrepreneurs who are more like on the spiritual side, or they are like healers, or they do, often they have like different gifts, and like, how do you help them get clear on that? Because I find, especially in that area, it often feels kind of fuzzy. And then you have your heart in it, and how do you present that?
I've done a lot of work in that market. Okay, someone said Gerry Foster knows how to brand woo-woo. That's what someone said. Okay,
nice.
But I've done a lot of work with in the metaphysical space, healers, intuitives, the whole 9 yards. It's the blend again of the modalities.
I love it.
Now, but here's the thing: what people are buying though is what's in it for them. What's the outcome? Because going back to even with Colleen, your secret sauce, your blend, your steps, your process, your method, the path you put people on, whatever you want to call that, has to tie into what's in it for them as an outcome. Because what the customer is paying for is, are you going to solve a problem I have? So if I work with you after, can you make this problem go away, or this energy person or whatever? Or two, can you take me from where I am to where I want to be? Can you give me better outcomes? You can take me from here to there. That's like someone saying, I'll make your kids smarter, right? Okay. Number three, can you perform a miracle in their eyes? Mm-hmm. Because you have some people out there, and you can get this, Astrid, which are people who are hurting. They're in dire straits. And in their mind, they want you to reverse their situation. Can you turn their midnight into day? Can you take what may seem impossible in their mind, but make it possible? Because you are now reshaping their future. You're reshaping and redefining what's possible for them, so that they're no longer limited by their past. And so you're pivoting your branding around the ability to bring forth something that they never thought could happen. And then the fourth thing people pay for is how you're going to make them feel. Can they stop experiencing a negative emotion? I mean, you start thinking about it, Astrid, all these negative emotions. People don't want to feel frustrated, stressed out, worried, and blah, blah, blah. But can you make those pains go away? Or are they pleasure seekers? You can help them achieve and be and become and have and all that sort of thing, right? That's what people are paying for.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got to sell the sizzle, not the steak. It's always the bubbles and not the champagne. It's always a whiff of the coffee, not the coffee. See, you all not getting this. You all ain't ready for this. See, this is the whole thing about this preaching. I'm having a little fun here. This is what branding's about. That's why the most successful companies on this planet are doing. They do what I'm telling you all, because people buy the brand and what they associate with that brand.
Yeah.
Like I had someone, I said, okay, you go to Starbucks. 7-Eleven's got great coffee. Why you go to Starbucks? Well, it's Starbucks. Oh yeah, because of what? The experience. Oh, okay. So what you're really selling is how people are going to feel as a result of your services.
So here's the cool thing I wanna say, and I'm aware of that. And
Isn't this fascinating?
I know that it's so fascinating, and I love that the best brands have all the senses and whatnot. And when people get as clear as you help them on all those levels and say, like, what do you want to feel and the experience, and then they come to a designer like me, for instance. I consider myself a brand experience designer. So I take all those emotional pieces and then think about the client experience, and I can then translate that into all the things. Like if somebody, for instance, has a retreat, then I can bring the feeling and the client experience, and like, what's the positioning, all those things, right? So it also helps you to brief then your service provider so that he can be clear towards them. So it's not just business partners and clients, it's also service providers, everybody. And I found the cool thing for me that happened and that I saw for clients to happen is when you really get a brand that clicks, where it feels like you, and it feels aligned like with your soul's desire and like your life, even your life purpose, especially as spiritual entrepreneurs, we have our heart in it, right? So then you actually like to show up with your brand when it's so clear that it feels like you. I had design clients before. I said like, oh my gosh, you visualized exactly what I wanted. And so I love that you give people the foundation to get that clear so that they can then also get the visuals or whatever they want afterward.
Absolutely, because you got to bring it to life, like I said. I mean, once I make sure your brand has the strongest body, voice, and spirit, they need you to help bring that to life visually. But I'm glad that you're playing up the experience part, because that's what a brand is. A brand is the promise of an experience.
Yeah, it is. And then the fulfillment, but also.
Correct, exactly. Oh yeah, that's another conversation. Okay. Yeah. And I'm glad you said what you said, because first you got to define the experience and then deliver on the experience. The question becomes, what is the experience they're looking for that they presently cannot find? Yeah. See, great brands always look for what we call a gap in the marketplace.
Mhm.
Everybody who's tuning in right now, you should be thinking like this. Your ideal client, your ideal customer, I want you to ask yourself or say to yourself, I know they're looking for A, B, and C, and they've been selling for D, E, and F from someone like me, someone like you, okay? And guess what you want to be able to say to them? Guess what? You can get the A, B, and C from me. And you want to know what else? You can only get it from me. And that's when you put your fist up and go ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. See, that's the whole thing. You speak to what's missing as an experience. You know, Astrid, I tell this famous story of Walt Disney when he was sitting on a park bench years ago in the 50s or whatever at an amusement park, and he turns to his wife and says, I'm going to open up my own amusement park. And she goes, why would you want to do that? They're loud, they're dirty, the employees are rude. And he looks at her and says, exactly. He goes, my park won't be like that.
Nice.
And now when you think about Disneyland, how did he brand it, Astrid? The happiest place on earth.
Mhm.
He didn't talk about Mickey Mouse and the Frontierland and all the attractions. He talked about the experience.
Mhm. That's really
Famous
cool.
interview with Howard Schultz. The kid buys a coffee shop where he worked. He goes to Italy. He watches how the Italians enjoy espresso and espresso bars. He comes back to America and says, Americans are not looking for just another coffee pub. Americans are looking for something more than coffee, sugar, and cream. What if I served up latte-based, espresso-based drinks and did not really call them coffee? Suppose I call them things like latte and cappuccino and
Right.
frappuccino.
Right.
And suppose I don't go small, medium, and large. I go grande and venti.
I don't like that they did that.
Oh, are you hearing me now? Suppose I describe an experience and I call my brand Starbucks. What if? And
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting because to this day, when he shares that story, he says that what built the Starbucks brand was how people associated how they could come to this place. 5 senses, what you see, taste, touch, smell, and hear, would come together and transport people to a different place,
Yeah.
as opposed to drinking coffee.
I love, Colleen, that you already have senses and built into your brand fund. Like you already have some magic there. So then you can add visuals and the language, the audio. And so you already have superpowers that are at your fingertips. That's really cool. So
You
Gerry,
talk about, so I focus on what people will gain from using her oils.
yep.
All people care about. Like I said, are you tuned into radio station WIIFM? What's in it for me? You're going to solve a problem I have if I use your oils. Are you going to perform a miracle in my eyes? Can you give me better outcomes? Well, what do I mean? Well, this is what I'm presently doing. This is what I'm thinking of doing. This is what I've done before. This is the worst one. This is what other people say I should do. And you come in there and say, no, you got certain advantages. Play up the advantages of your oil, Colleen, and then tie in the emotions, how they can feel, right? People don't like body lotion. They're not paying for shea butter. In the lotion, they're paying for what? Smooth, touchable, soft skin. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I
A
love
brand
it.
is a promise. You got to ask yourself, what am I willing to promise?
Yeah. So
That's
Gerry, I have a question for you. So
Tide gets out grounded in dirt. Ooh.
what's
You
that?
don't want grease on your dishes. Oh yeah, you got to use Dawn. Ooh. Oh, you want young looking hands? Oh, palm olive or ivory liquid. Oh yeah. Are you getting this, Colleen?
Yeah.
Everybody who's tuning in, I'm in a good mood. I'm giving you all some gems here because of Astrid. You all should be thanking Astrid. She got me on here.
Well, thank you for showing up.
Because I believe in her.
I have pages of notes here.
And Astrid is a master She'll
Aw,
bring it to life like no other.
yeah.
The
Thank you.
universe brought us together. Go ahead, Astrid. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Thank you. And we're all masters and we're here to get the mastery out to the people. That's the whole conversation, right? It's finding that.
Yes, yes.
Um, so I was curious, how do people know they're in the right place in the business to come to you? Because there's always the right place. Like, how would you define that, your ideal sweet spot for people to come to you?
I see. One of the symptoms, of course, slow sales, no sales, their brand is stuck, stalled, or in a slump. There's that crowd. But the other people who come to me are usually in one of two places. One is they've made the decision they want to put out a brand as opposed to a product or a service. That's two different paths. If you just want to show up as a service provider, if you just want to show up as a product manufacturer or reseller, I'm not your guy. If you want to put out a brand, which means we got to create it from scratch. So I do a lot of that. The second person, though, Astrid, is someone who has a brand, or at least they think they do. And we do what's called rebranding, which you probably have heard before. And big companies rebrand all the time. All you're doing, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's more of a what's missing conversation. So the idea is to re-engineer, reimagine, retool, revamp what you presently have so that you can do what? Stay ahead of the curve. And big companies rebrand all the time. And I do that a lot. And I'll throw this in there too, Astrid. I get people from those who want to go into business for themselves versus people who have a day job and they have a business on the side. You know, they want the side hustle to become the full-time hustle. I get those. And then I get the early stage people. They've been in business for maybe less than a year, maybe 2 years. And then, of course, I get the further along, 5, 10, 20, 30 years out.
Yeah.
But the main thing they all have in common is they want to put out a brand because we live in a brand conscious world. I mean, come on, man. It's you go online, you look in the newspaper, you go on TV, it's all about your brand. You got celebrities talking about their brand. But if you think your brand is simply what people can see, you're missing the boat. I'm not diminishing Astrid, okay? But you got to give people reasons to choose you. I always tell people, do you have a hard time understanding this concept that a brand is more than a logo and what people can see? Astrid knows this. I think I told her this. Let's take Coke and Pepsi. I doubt the Coca-Cola drinkers prefer Coke because it's in a red can and the Pepsi people because it's in a blue can. It's what's inside the can that counts. The question for each of you all is what's inside your can? Okay. Am I right, Astrid?
Yes, I have a
You got to
different.
do it all. You got to have both me and Astrid working, okay? See, you combine what she does with what I do, you have what's called a whole brand. If you only worked with me, you'd have a partial brand. If you only worked with her, you'd have a partial brand. You want to have a whole brand. One of the reasons I think Astrid and I are doing this is so you don't do what I call pseudo branding.
It's just something missing. The most powerful brands have everything, the inside core clear, and then the presentation. And I like the metaphor of it's almost like people, like brands are like people to connect. Like when we meet a new person, we want to know who they are and if we like them, and like how do we want to build a friendship with them. It's kind of like a metaphor to me. It's not just the makeup and the clothes or whatever, but those things give us cues of do we want to get them to know more, because what are they doing? They're dancing, we love joy, whatever. And so then you start talking and then you learn their deeper what they do and how they enrich your life, kind of deal, right? And so it's kind of a parallel to
I
that.
like that. That's good.
Yeah. And I find it interesting that the examples you bring from the big brands, those are awesome, can be awesome inspiration, and the small entrepreneurs, the single spiritual entrepreneurs, I know we have a super awesome advantage towards the big companies, because a lot of times the big ones, they're trying to personify their brand. It's like Ronald McDonald or something. They want people to connect with their hearts. So they're building this world and these emotions and values and whatnot, but it's all a construct, right? And like, the cool thing when you're here with your own business and your heart and passion and go to Gerry, it's authentic, it's you, right? Like he helps you find you and your core, and it's not a construct, it's crystallizing out those things that really matter to you and putting them in a forum that people will understand. Is that right?
God, that was so well put. That was,
Mm.
that really was.
It has
No,
to
I
be in
mean,
the heart, otherwise you don't want to do it. And yeah.
because I believe, oh yeah, because here's the thing. I always tell people, if you go into business, you want people to see your heart. You
Mhm.
want people to hear the stand that you are, to bring forth a future for them that they've been looking for.
Nice. Yeah.
So declare what your brand purpose is. And like as a mission. Well, when I say mission statement, I don't mean some Fortune 1000 boring mission statement you're going to find on a Google search. I'm talking about your declaration of what you want to have show up for the people you're serving. And then when you get to the messaging part, okay, you've got to use the right words that allows you to connect and engage and entice people. You got to make it to Astrid's point. You got to make a heart connection, not a head connection. And that's another problem, Astrid, which is, oh my God, I go to these websites or I hear what people say, and they say stuff that is just boring or dry or like, dude, you're being way too intelligent. People make buying decisions based on emotion, backed by logic.
Yeah.
It's like an automotive. I always tell people, let's take branding of automobiles. It's a proven fact that consumers don't care about what goes on underneath the hood of the car. They really don't care. All they care about is how they're going to feel behind the wheel of the car. So that's why, Astrid, back in the day, Pontiac used to sell excitement. Pontiac, Mitsubishi sells fun. Lexus is perfection. Mercedes is luxury. Volvo is safety, right? I mean, don't sell me a refrigerator, sell me fresher tasting food. Don't sell me a set of tires. Talk about how you'll protect my family. I mean, you got to really separate the sizzle from the steak and focus on what people are going to get from you as a benefit.
Yeah, I love it.
That's being heart-based. That's speaking from your heart.
Yeah. Ties it, like, because spiritual entrepreneurs, we have a vision and a passion somehow, and so when you can tie it to that and you help them make that connection, that is really awesome. So Gerry, I know I don't have super much more time left. I would love people to get a glimpse of how you can help them, because I know you're cooking up something in the background. You have different ways that people can work with you, and you shared some glimpses with me behind the scenes of a new thing that you're developing right now or relaunching. And a special opportunity where people can join as an early bird. And will you share it?
Here's what I'm thinking. I just put in the chat box my cell, and you can blurt that out or post it, Astrid. Here's what I would recommend: is everybody's in a different spot. Just send me a text. Just say Astrid, your name. Hi Gerry, and then I'll reach out to you and we can have a conversation. Don't you think, Astrid? Because I don't want to sit here and pitch a program.
That sounds awesome. And I put your phone number next to your name so people can see it in the recording too.
Thank you. There you go. There you go. Because in that way we can talk, because I'm a giver, not a taker. I'm not here to do a sales pitch. When Astrid invited me to be on this amazing program, and by the way, she's just freaking awesome, man. I'm already, she doesn't know this yet, but I'm already thinking about business I can refer to her. Okay. I think she's the real deal. But here's the thing. I'm here because she and I are developing a business relationship and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm not here to do a sales pitch. Yeah, Astrid, I got programs, I got stuff coming up and all of this. Oh, in my book, check this out. The Game Changer.
I saw that in the background.
Oh my God. Here, I know. Oh my God.
What is that about?
This is my first co-author anthology book. 18 authors, that's me right there.
Wow.
And my chapter is called The Magic of Branding Big. Now, here's the good news. This just launched last Wednesday.
Yeah.
If you go to Amazon,
Uh-huh.
okay, and type in the Game Changer book, order volume 7. The Kindle version is only 99 cents. But check
I
this
already
out.
ordered it.
We got the news today. It's already become an international bestseller
We're good. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
in 5 days. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I share a great, and these are all, and thank you. These are all inspiring stories. I share a very inspiring story from something that happened in my life early on that got me to become who I am today. So yeah, check that out. You know,
Nice.
Game Changer, Volume 7, Amazon.com, 99 cents for Kindle. I just get a kick out of saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
You can also get the paperback.
I love it. That's really
Oh
cool.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
need more. Thank you for all those opportunities. Colleen, as you're here live with us, do you have this can be a Q&A. You can ask Gerry anything, you can ask me anything. Did anything show up for you that you would love to know before we wrap up the call?
My head is going like this from all the
That's good.
information and all the
See,
notes. I so appreciate everything.
Colleen, let me, I want to just say something to that. That's called getting unstuck. See, when your head starts, Astrid and I are blowing your mind in a good way, because now you got to start thinking outside the box.
Exactly. Yes.
Today's world, it requires a whole new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And behaving and showing up. It really does.
Yep.
And you have to dare to be
I really
different.
appreciate that I showed up for this call.
I do too. Thank you for doing that. Also for you. Yeah, that's awesome. So you get to feel into what lights you up, and then you get to see, like, if you feel that you want more support, which can be super helpful in these moments to get clear. You have Gerry's number, you have our contact info. And yeah. Was there anything particular that showed up that you would like, oh, tell me a bit more about something? Or do you feel you just need space to let it settle? And
I need to let it settle and then start working with it, molding it.
yeah.
But, let me add this because of the time of year. This is the critical time right now, between now, like mid-December, to work on your branding for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seriously. In fact, all successful companies, it's this fall period, especially this period, where they're planning for next year. So for our people who are tuning in, now is the time to connect with me, connect with Astrid, whatever, and think about how can you have a world-class brand, top shelf panache for 2023 that can turn things around for you, scale your business, 10x your business, take you to a whole nother level. This is when you want to connect with me and or Astrid, okay? Seriously. Okay, so you don't keep doing the same things, like, definition of insanity, okay?
Definition of insanity.
Don't be insane. This is not the time to be insane.
Yeah. That's
and the thing about my work too, I'll mention this. I'm an affordable guy. I know I sit here and I sound freaking brilliant. I know that, okay? Because people tell me.
You are.
You probably think I'm going to charge you $50,000. No, 98, let me tell you, Astrid, you don't know that. 98% of my clients and students are solopreneurs, and they're women. For some reason, women entrepreneurs is who I primarily work with. I think I shouldn't be saying this about men, but men are like so set in their ways and how they think. Women want to learn, expand, and grow. And so I love working with women out there who are tuning in. Mompreneurs, I do a lot of work with moms, the whole 9 yards. So
nice. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted to highlight another benefit I see of working with you. Because here's the thing, like, we're all unique, right? But like, as women, I know sometimes it's really helpful to have a man reflect how something sounds. Like, so I have, for example, I have a partner who's like very structural thinker, and I'm this super creative thinker. And you know, when I met him, I was very much in my creative world. I'm like, this is what I do, creative, blah blah blah. And he's like, you have to break this down for me a little. Reframe this. And so it's a really good practice, and you can be an amazing clarity filter. Like, I don't know if you're aware of that superpower, also because you're a male, then you bring a clarity perspective, an outside perspective, how to make things crystal clear when people bring it to you. So especially
I get told that one woman called me the word whisperer.
okay.
Gerry has a unique gift to take what it is that you're trying to say, and he translates it into the right words that land with people. That I do have because I hear what others don't hear, and I see what others don't see.
Yeah. But
I am able to take, especially the spiritual community, to take what it is that you do that's so powerful and so incredible, but put that into words that speak to the hearts of your target audience.
Yeah, and especially that in that world for spiritual entrepreneurs, it can be so tricky to find the words for that, especially when it's your own.
Yes.
And so if you can translate that into results, that's pure gold.
That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah,
that's what I do. Pure gold. That's what you do.
No, messaging is a big part of what I do. That's a lot of people come to me because of my communication skills.
Yeah.
Verbal and written. Yeah. And so I do a lot of work in that, coaches, speakers, trainers, that whole experts community, basically service-based entrepreneurs. You have expertise. And let me say one more thing, Asper. This is what, and I talk about this in that book, by the way. There's a big difference between branding yourself and your skills and your talents and your abilities and expertise versus a physical product.
Oh, heck yeah.
So here's what happens. Service-based entrepreneurs don't get the distinction. So that if they go down the branding path, they're branding themselves as if they have a physical product. What many fail to recognize is that what you are offering as expertise is vapor in the eyes of your buyer. You're selling the invisible. So what do? I translate or transform the invisible into something visible. So that it literally shows up in the hearts and the minds of your buyer like a physical product. And that is what does what? That escalates sales. You get more conversions because when you express and show your brand a certain way as a quote unquote service per se, they get it. And that's what my big brand formula is. When you introduce me, my big brand formula, as to what you referenced in your introduction to me, is a 7-step organic system that shows you how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
pretty
so
cool, huh?
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah,
and
but that's an important distinction. People don't get that.
Yeah.
There's product branding and there's service branding, two different things.
Well, what matters for people is like to be able to ultimately grow their business and get their customers see them. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you showed up to help them.
But that's also one more thing. But see, they have to understand what I call the golden triangle.
Okay.
If you draw a triangle on a sheet of paper, brand at the top of the triangle, market lower left-hand corner, sell lower right-hand corner. There's a sequence to scaling and growing a business, which is brand, market, sell. It's always branding, followed by marketing, followed by selling. They're like a three-legged stool, but they're equal. One is not more important than the other. But here's the thing. You got to do it in the right order because the goal of branding is to get you known. And then marketing's job is to get you found. And then selling can get you paid.
Yeah.
You got to get known, get found, get paid because we're all in business to be seen, be heard, and to make money. But what happens for so many people is they think that marketing is the holy grail. So they put all this money in the marketing stuff that doesn't work because, like I said, their branding isn't right. But then they justify their branding because I got a freaking logo and a website.
I'm so glad. Everybody talks about social media and what do you do in social media, and then I see so many people waste time and energy, and then it gets frustrated because then, and also a lot of people don't like marketing, especially when you're not clear about your brand, then you don't know what to say, and then people don't respond, and then people take it personally, and then you go down in this repeat.
Oh my God.
and feel like crap. So if that's you, anybody watching the replay and that resonates with you,
Yeah, because you know, Astrid, there's 3 levels to branding, big picture. Level 1, strategic brand.
mhm,
Get the strongest body, voice and spirit possible. Level 2, visual branding. That's where you come in.
right,
Bring it to life. Okay. And then level 3, social media branding. But to your point, if people just want to leapfrog
yeah,
social media branding and start doing postings and you're not getting followers and subscribers and downloaders, it's because you put the cart before the horse.
mhm,
You know, you're putting the tile down before the cabinets are up. You got to make sure, to Astrid's point, you got to make sure that your foundation, your core work is done. Then you turn to an Astrid and say, okay, let's use your design brilliance to bring it to life. Now you're ready for social media. Now you're ready to create a marketing funnel. Now you're ready to do a challenge or have some kind of offer or do email marketing. See, that's the whole, so Astrid, so many people today, they're out of sequence.
I know, I totally see that. And I know we saw it also at the conference where we're at. They had like a Shark Tank thing there
Oh my
where
God.
people could present their offer to other
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
JV partners, yeah.
JV partners and entrepreneurs, and it was fascinating to see, but it really showed that it's so important to be able to speak clearly what you do for who and why, and like all the details, that it instantly translates, so that then people can get behind it and interested, and you find partners, you find synergy partners, all of that. You don't waste people's time, and like people want to promote you, and all those doors start opening when you have that clarity. And I wanted to make one more point about, because I see a lot of people, and I was one of them too. It's like when you're at the beginning of your business, you don't have the big income coming yet, and you're kind of frugal. And I've done that for many years, where I was not really investing in things, and thinking that, oh my gosh, I can do this on my own. So then you waste potentially a lot of time trying things, right? And that time you could actually get customers if you had invested and you were clear and you could make money. So it's something to gauge for everybody watching the replay, is like, are you wasting time muddling? And are you ready to get a clear brand to actually start making money? So I think it's important thing to consider.
That is very important. And I tell you, I cannot emphasize enough. If you're looking for high quality clients or joint venture partners, both prefer to do business with someone who decided to be different, create something different, and build something different, so that together you can create a vibe through your brand. It's that simple. And that means you got to have something that is not plain vanilla. It's got to have some toppings on it, and some nuts and a cherry on top, and lots of fudge. Okay, you got to put something out that is strong, that's mouth-watering. And so that's what I do. I create mouth-watering brands for people.
I like it. That's a really cool description. So now we got everybody hungry, and we're wrapping up the call. So if you're hungry to get more,
a lot of plain vanilla out there.
Satisfy your appetite.
I mean, you go to the yogurt shop, you put get the scoop in there, okay, but if you're just gonna have vanilla, okay, fine. But most people know, where the nuts, where the cherry, where's the fudge, where's the chocolate? You know, you want to, you got to do that with your business. Hello, and that's your brand.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank
Thank you so
Because it's
much.
an experience when you're tasting all that. That makes you feel different than plain vanilla, doesn't it? Okay, cool.
It's good. Yeah, it's really important. It's like we all have our own version of ice cream, right? And to really represent that's what we want to do, so that we're also fulfilled from our insides, for ourselves, for our business. I know that's like, for me, it was important to land here, to really like do my business in an aligned way. And then once you start getting clients that way, it's so fulfilling. That's when your soul starts to sing, right? So we all want you to succeed, from your heart, from your bank account, from all the levels. So yeah, time to.
I like that, Astrid, because you're pointing to that we all have the power of choice. We can choose who we wish to be,
Yeah.
what we wish to do, what we want to have. But I tell you this, in today's marketplace, you gotta be different, do something different so you can create something different, especially in your bank account.
Mhm. Yes. And the cool thing is that we're already different. We just have to rediscover what makes us
There
different,
you
right?
go. And
It's
it's
not
something,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's hard to do on your own
yeah, I know exactly.
because you can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. Come on now, am I right, Astrid? I mean, really, I mean, seriously, am I right, Colleen? You can't see yourself inside the picture frame, and you can't go to your family and your friends because they're not objective. You know, you got to have folks who have no stake in you that can see what you don't see. And then and here's the other thing, Astrid. What's that old quote? You don't know what you don't know, right? Well, I take it a step further. It's not that you don't know what you don't know. The worst thing is to act like you do know what you don't know, or what you don't know isn't that important, especially when it comes to branding.
That's
Anyway.
sad.
But so now we're into mindsets. Am I right?
Yeah,
We can do a whole nother podcast just on that. I mean,
mindset, but it's also like fulfillment of our heart's desire. So that's what it comes down for me personally. So allow yourself, give yourself permission to sparkle, like I say in my own book, and say yes to really shine your light. And Gerry can help you get clear.
That is powerful. Did you all hear what she just said? Give yourself permission to sparkle.
What is the title of your book?
I love that.
The title of my book. So
That's it. No, that's part of why you and I are going to make it a great team, because my work is from a brand is I always ask people, when do you shine the brightest? When do you radiate? When do you sparkle? And let's build a brand around that, so that when people experience your brand, they need sunglasses because you're so freaking bright they can't handle it.
I love that you said that. Okay, I love that you said that. We're so
Okay, I'll shut up. I'll shut up now.
Okay, great stuff. So nice meeting you, Colleen. I'm looking forward to seeing more about your magical potion oils and like how they create magic. And Gerry, looking forward to see more of your amazing work, and we'll connect behind the scenes. Everybody watching the replay, we're looking forward to any questions you have. Reach out to us. You have
Here's my phone number. Reach out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Gerry's number, I'll say it in case you can't see it. It's 310-382-6539 is his phone number. So, and I'll
Text
put
me.
the links as well.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you,
I'm
Astrid.
so glad
Thank you,
I tuned in.
Colleen.
Oh, so glad you
Bye-bye,
did too.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Keep sparkling.
Bye, Astrid.